Tammy Kolda, an applied mathematician, and this is Unlocking LaTeX Graphics. On this channel, I provide tutorials on TikZ and PGF plots, which are tools for creating graphics in LaTeX that compile right along with your documents. I've been using these tools for many years, so I understand your frustrations. This is one of a sequence of videos where I'm covering the contents of my book, Unlocking LaTeX Graphics, linked in the show notes. If you like this channel, please subscribe, post questions, and share with your friends and colleagues. Today's topic is the TikZ circle operation. So I'll cover drawing circles, drawing dots, drawing ellipses, which you can also do with the circle command, and drawing a hollow circle. I'll also talk about other ways to get circles in TikZ, just briefly. I'm assuming that you're already a little bit familiar with TikZ. If not, please go back and watch the earlier videos linked in the show notes. As usual, we'll use Overleaf to create our LaTeX document. So we'll just go ahead and click New Project, Blank Project. We'll call this project Circles and Ellipses in TikZ LaTeX Graphics. And then we'll go ahead and get things set up. Here I'm going to get rid of the use package, GraphicX, and put in some of my own favorite packages. Of course, we need TikZ. That's the package we're talking about. And then I use Parskip and Full Page just to make things look a little bit prettier. So let's compile that. And then we're ready to go. We'll go ahead and start by my posting a segment of code that will include a style named circ. That just has the effect of making the lines very thick, filling whatever we draw and setting the fill opacity to 0.3. And then I have an example here where I went ahead and did a simple circle. So I'm using the draw command with the circ style as one of its arguments. And then I went ahead and I'll make this one red. And then I'm centering that circle at 0, 0. And then I call circle and then in parentheses the radius. The 0, 0 here is actually superfluous. And so we can go ahead and delete that. And it doesn't change anything. So if circle is the very first thing and there's no coordinate before that point, it just goes to 0, 0 by default. Now you can sort of verify that this is a circle with radius 1 by drawing a little arrow from the center to an arbitrary angle for a distance of 1. So here we're just going to draw a little arrow starting at 0, 0, the center of the circle, and going to 56:1. So it's 56 degrees, a distance of 1. I could change this to 98 degrees, and it's all the same. There's another way that you can create a circle that is exactly identical, except for that the arguments are just structured slightly different, and there's no reason to prefer one or the other. This one explicitly spells out that the radius is 1. That's the only difference. You can also use the command circle to create some dots. So I'll give a little segment of code for that. Now, there's a couple things I want to emphasize here. I'm using fill, so I'm not drawing, I'm only filling the circles that we create. And that is a shortcut, if you recall from the first video, for path square brackets fill. And then I'm setting the color to black, but actually that's the default color, so we don't actually need to specify that explicitly. That if I take that out, it changes nothing. And then I have a circle, and then I'm using 3 pt. So you can specify a distance in your radius for the circle. So this is 3 points. Points is a measure in LaTeX. And so this is a circle of radius 3 points. And then I do ++, 1, 0. So it moves me from the center to the next point, which will be 1, 0. And that will become the center of my second circle, which has a radius of 2 points. And then I do again a relative move of ++, 1, 0. And I move to the spot 2, 0. And then I draw a circle of smaller radius still of 1 point. So that's how you can draw some dots using the circle command. In mathematics, we know that a circle is always an ellipse, but an ellipse is not always a circle. In TikZ, an ellipse is a circle. At least you use the circle command to get an ellipse. So let me give you an example here. I'll go ahead and paste this segment of code and compile. And so what's different, we have now, instead of just a radius, we have an X radius and a Y radius. So those are our two major axes. Here I'm saying one is of distance 1 and the other is of distance 0.5. So I can show that this is going the right distance by drawing some little arrows that start at the center of the ellipse, 1, 1. And then the first major axis is at an angle of 0 degrees, a distance of 1. That's the arrow we see here. And then the second major axis goes from the center at an angle of 90 degrees for a distance of 0.5. So we see that arrow here. Now that works as long as you want your ellipse to be aligned with the unit axes. If you want it to be otherwise, you need to add a third rotate argument. So let me show you an example here. And so in this example, we've added a rotate of 30 degrees to change the axis slightly. And so now our major axes are at 30 and 120. And so the first is the x-axis, and the second is corresponding to the y-axis. This last part is a little bonus segment that I don't even have in my book, but it's how I drew the frame around my face that you see right around me right here. So let me go ahead and show you how you can do that with TikZ. We're going to draw a transparent circular frame. So first I'm going to give something to just exist as something we can use to see transparency. So I just draw a gray box. And now let's say I want to draw a transparent circle. So I'll draw two circles centered at the same place. So in this case, 3, 1. And then let's see what happens when I compile that. I make the first circle purple. And then when I draw the second, I make it white, but it's actually not transparent. So that's not working. I could put fill is none. That's always an option. But now it just has the fill from the first circle. It didn't erase that. So how do I actually erase it? So I can use something called the even-odd rule, which I put into this first one. And then I draw the second circle in the same command, centered at the same place as the first circle. So I'll go ahead and recompile that. And now you see this even-odd rule caused the second circle to not be filled. And I can actually take out this 3, 1 because it will center at the same place as the first one. And so that makes it as simple as possible. So that's how you make a transparent circular frame. The last thing I'll talk about today is a few other ways to get circles in TikZ. I'm not going to go into details right now, but I just want to mention it in case you're already using it and you're a little bit confused. One other major way you can get a circle in TikZ is to make a circle node. And we'll cover those later, but they have fundamentally different properties. So we have a circle node, and then we also have a circle path operation. So future videos will cover nodes, circle nodes, and the difference between a circle node and a circle path operation. There's a link to the Overleaf document in the show notes, and please click like or subscribe if you want more videos like this. Thanks for watching.